Today on Pop Podcast, we're going to be talking about the FBI and how they are cracking down on hacking that's happening in the surgery world. We're also going to be talking about the first ever eye transplant. Yeah, you heard it right. The first ever eye transplant. And last but not least, what in the world is Barbie Tox? And why is everybody flocking to get it? All that and more on today's first podcast episode of Pop, Patience Over Profit. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first Pop episode, Patience Over Profit podcast. My name is Laura Alexis. I am the CEO and founder of Pop Recovery Systems. We are the first ever company to create innovative systems that assist patients from the beginning to the end of their surgery journeys. And I decided to create this podcast from my own experience having my surgery in July of 2020. Coming off of a lot of alcoholism, drug addiction, I had no idea that having surgery was going to change my life the way it did. You know, all of my friends had had surgery, and the night before surgery, they were like, yeah, sure, you can drink this tequila. Yeah, sure, let's do this cocaine. You know, it's really crazy, but they had surgery too, so I was thinking it was totally fine. Come to find out, I was actually in surgery for 14 hours and I could have literally died. And a lot of that was my own fault. A lot of that was my own miseducation. And I do not want that happening to any future patients. So I created this podcast. It's going to be a mixture of like patients' experiences, my experiences, and talking about what's going on in trending news. So I'm really excited about this first episode. If you know someone who might benefit from this podcast, please like, please share, please subscribe. These are the ways that they push it out to the masses. And I just believe that since surgery and cosmetic procedures are becoming so popular, that we have a responsibility to educate more than we have. You know, these surgeons, they want to be on social media and YouTube, and they want to teach you about the procedure, which is great. And they want to teach you about recovery, which what do they know about recovery if they've never had surgery, you know? And that's great as well, but no one talks about the preparation. No one talks about the mental health aspect, and that is why we're here. So I hope that you enjoy this first episode. Like I said, we're going to talk about some new things that are happening in the plastic surgery world, and I can't wait to get started. So let's go. There have been hacking all over the United States from hackers who are tapping into practices and extracting private information, before and after photos of patients who thought they were going in just to anonymously have a procedure, and boom, next thing you know, their pictures are on the internet. Now, I'm a little torn like when it comes to this. Number one, obviously hacking is wrong. Like, you shouldn't be hacking people's information. Number two, I certainly blame the practices. Like, if you have this kind of sensitive information, you need to be up to par with cybersecurity. My dad is actually like a master network security, cybersecurity, and we at Pop Recovery Systems are completely secure because he is our security officer. But like, these plastic surgeons want to charge thousands and thousands of dollars for these procedures, and they can't even spend a monthly fee or a lump time fee to have their security, network security, be up to par. Like, come on. That is a problem. It needs to be fixed. But like, I feel kind of like, I know that plastic surgery is private and maybe you don't want to share it with people, but like some of the women, like this clip that they're going to show, you know, these women, they didn't want you to see who they are. They all had breast augmentations. You can probably tell they had breast augmentations, but it makes me think about the stigma that's around plastic surgery in the first place. Like, why is everybody trying to keep it a secret? Like, for example, take Martha Stewart, for example. We all know she had a facelift, yet she's telling everyone good exercise and good food. That's why she had a facelift. Now, because she's almost 90 and she's from that old school world of like, no, we keep it private if we have plastic surgery. That's That's not good. That's not like something that I get behind. And I love, one of the people that I love that recently had plastic surgery done is Leah Hermosi. Leah Hermosi had a nose job, and she was like, you know, people asked her like, hey, did you do it because of this or whatever, some sob story reason? She's like, no, I did it because I had money. I've always wanted a different nose. And so I knew I'd look better with a different nose. And I'm like, thank you, girl. Like, that's what it's all about. And I'm against surgeons not protecting their private information. Let's stop making it normal to keep it a secret that we're having plastic surgery, because then that would give the hackers no power. Now, again, let me say this. No, they should not be hacking. Yes, the practices should be better protected. But if we weren't hiding it like so strongly, then they wouldn't have any power. You know what I mean? Like, stop giving people power. And if we're going to use technology to make our bodies or make our faces to our liking, not for any outside reason, but for internal reasons, I totally get behind that. So next up on this episode is we are going to talk about the eye transplant, the first ever eye transplant done in the United States. So a man from Arkansas, he got shot by 7,200 voltage while he was working, and it like shot through his whole body. He lost his arm, he lost his teeth, he lost half his face. And other than having a complete face transplant, which it's the first of only, I believe, 19 that have ever been done in history, they did the first ever eye transplant. Take a look at this.
Aaron James has always been committed to his family, committed to his country, and committed to his career, helping to maintain America's power grid. But while doing that job on June 10th, 2021, he accidentally touched a 7,200 volt power line. His wife, Megan, will never forget the call she got from his boss.
Aaron's been in an accident. I said, is he okay? And he said, it's pretty serious.
Doctors did all they could to save her husband of 20 years. His left arm had to be amputated above the elbow. He also lost his left eye.
Now, what I think is just so cool is when I was reading the article, he was like, you know what? If I'm not the first, then who else? And I'm just like, yes, exactly. Why are people so afraid of having first in the plastic surgery world, in the surgery world? Like, for example, recovery systems, they have never been in existence before we created it ever. Like, to the point where we are in the process of patenting it because it had never been done before. And of course, we want to protect our intellectual property. But like, people in the beginning, a year ago, a little over a year ago when we started, they're like, well, it's never been done before. Why would we do it now? And this is a prime example of why that is far from the truth. Because it's never been done before, now is the time to do it. And like, I also love how his wife, what did you think when you saw your husband's face like that? Now, y'all know some of y'all would have left your husband. I remember seeing a clip on YouTube about a woman who left her husband because he got cancer and he could no longer provide for her financially the way that he used to. So y'all know how some women are, but listen to what this woman says about her seeing her husband for the first time and learning that he's, you know, they're going to go through something.
And when you saw his face unbandaged for the first time,
I just took a deep breath and I said, all right, this is what we're dealing with.
3. Good. All right.
The Arkansas native also lost his nose and front teeth, so he agreed to undergo a partial face transplant, including the world's first transplant of a donor's eye.
And so this is what I am talking about. She stood by her man. She definitely supported him along the way. And he is even like talking a little bit. He's getting closer and closer to his goals. But you see how a support system makes all the difference. A support system on any journey, whether it's elective or mandatory, it makes all the difference. And so this is a perfect time. You know, have you gone on a surgery journey? Did you feel like you were supported by your family? I know that one of our amazing team members, she talks about all the time that her family made her feel bad for recovering, made her feel like, it's just a little surgery. And this was a mandatory surgery that she had to have. And they still weren't super supportive. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you had surgery, mandatory or elective? Did you feel supported? And if you did, tell us all the details. If you didn't, please tell us all the details. We would love to know, because we'd like to take this information and use it for future episodes. You guys, there's just not enough information out there, like reliable, credible information. And if you're wondering about where we get ours, we work very closely with specialists. So when we're talking about nutrition, it's because we learned about it from registered dietitians and clinical nutritionists. If we're talking about mental health, it's because we work with board certified mental health therapists, Reiki, EFT, freedom tapping. I mean, you name it, we have them on our team. And if we're talking about surgery, it's coming from one of our board certified plastic surgery partners, as well as our board certified bariatric surgery partners. Like, we only are getting our information from reliable sources because we don't want you to have to go to Instagram, have to go to Facebook, and just get a plethora of bad information. And that is why we are here. Now, last and certainly not least on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Barbie Tox. Now, if you don't know, Barbie Tox is where they enter Botox into this muscle. And apparently it's meant to give the appeal of like a slimmer neck, kind of like Barbie. Me personally, you ain't putting nothing in my trap muscle, just not happening. But many women are flocking to it, to the point where it has millions of views on YouTube, on TikTok, on everywhere. And so here's the thing about that. I'm not against anyone doing something for like beauty, but do you really need a slimmer neck? Like, I'm totally for chin lipo. Like, I have seen people's faces change drastically for chin lipo, but it's like this, like Botox on your traps. Like, what is the point? Like, this is why some people are against surgery, because there was actually a doctor who talked about this. I'm going to let this clip play. I want you to watch it and listen specifically to what he says. This isn't just a beauty procedure. It's this procedure as well.
Barbie Botox. Trap Tox.
2 weeks ago, I got Botox in my trapezius muscle.
Whatever you call it, there is no denying it is the beauty trend of the moment. The hashtag Barbie Botox has more than 11 million views on TikTok. The procedure involves getting Botox in your trapezius muscle to slim the neckline. But medical experts say you need to know what you're getting into.
I'm not in any way saying this is a bad idea. I'm just saying that, it's a medical procedure that has risks.
So it's not just a beauty procedure. It is a medical procedure. And so when you're looking at getting things medically done, number one, do it by a medical professional, please. Like, please don't go to some hotel or motel because they do it for half the price and get your Barbie Tox. Make sure you're going to a medical professional. Make sure that you are researching the facility that you're going to. Make sure that you're even doing background checks. Like, you can actually do public arrest and background checks on the providers that you're going to. And these days, it is so necessary. In Florida, there was a surgeon that was just caught. Basically, he was arrested a year ago and a year before that, so twice already, for methamphetamines. And he's been doing plastic surgery this whole time until his surgery date, which is next month. And so he's basically doing surgery this whole time, addicted to meth, to pay for his lawyer to be able to get off scot clean, which he probably is, because that's unfortunately how it works. If you have money for the good lawyers, if you have the connection, I'm going to be super real with you right now. I remember when I was younger, I was the DUI queen. I had like 4 from all under the age of 25. So over a decade ago. And I literally would always scrounge up all the money I could to hire one particular lawyer who was always playing golf with the prosecutors and the judges, because I knew that would keep me out of jail. And so I'm being vulnerable and honest with you to say that these doctors are doing the exact same thing. So you need to do background checks. You need to do facility checks. And if you don't know how to do that, then you need to hire someone to do it for you. This is your life. This is not a game. Surgery is not a game. So here at Patience Over Profit, we value your opinion. Please leave your comments below. If you have any questions or you want to be on the show, please email hello@poprecoverysystems.com. We would love to hear about your story, hear about your experience, and hear about how you think they could make the surgery world a better place. Until next time.